The enigmatic entrepreneur whose words will make you sure. Know, trust, and believe. The master teacher has come to help you succeed. The gem dropper, the truth speaker, the voice of the universe that will bring you to your highest peak. Welcome to the Get High on Motivation Show with Mimi the Motivator, your favorite motivator's favorite motivator.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, love bugs. It is your favorite motivator's favorite motivator, and I'm happy to be here per my usual. I think I get excited no matter how tired I am or what's going on in my world. When it's time for me and you to come together, it just changes everything. I get excited. I get a burst of energy no matter how tired and lethargic I was feeling. If my attitude was bad, now I am smiling. So thank you, love bug. Thank you for bringing me your energy today. Thank you for being willing to sit down or take a run and have this conversation with me, because it's always important that we keep coming together, that we keep supporting each other, because we are in this together. So let me introduce myself to the love bugs who are new around here. Yes, I'm going to call you a love bug. Don't be offended. I am a holistic leadership development expert. What all that means really is that I help people get their mind, their body, their spirit, and their finances right. No matter where they are in life, I can help you get to where it is that you desire to be. I will give you the knowledge, the tools, the equipment that you need to make it happen. If nothing else, I will send you through one of my programs and you can lay your own transformation down. It's up to you, but I am here to assist you with it every single week. So we meet here every week to do the same thing, which is work on being 1% better in one area of our life. That's it. Just little baby steps towards success, making sure that we're continuously walking in the direction of our destiny, because it's the only way it's going to happen. It won't happen any other way. So make sure that you are taking the steps that you need to do what you need to do. So we are going to do what we always do, which is have some food for thought. And then we'll have our conversation today. And today we are talking about teaching people how to treat us. Because if you're anything like me, you may have somebody in life that has not been up to par in treating you how you feel like you deserve and desire to be treated. So we'll talk about that today, and hopefully it won't get too ugly. And let's get to it. Food for thought today comes from a book I haven't read in a very long time, which is called Feel Free to Prosper, with the simplest prosperity laws available. Love this book. It is a winner chicken dinner. I have read it some years ago, but I've just recently started reading it. Never just read a book once, especially if it was good. That's not the food for thought. But what I got out of her book was an anonymous quote. And the quote said this very simple line: fear knocked at the door. Faith answered. There was no one there. Fear knocked at the door. Faith answered. There was no one there. Let me tell you all something. Fear and faith cannot operate in the same space. I don't care who you are. Fear and faith cannot operate in the same space. So either you're going to approach a situation with fear, or you're going to approach a situation of faith. You're going to wake up in fear, or you're going to wake up in faith. You're going to build your business in fear, you're going to build your business in faith. You're going to build your relationships in fear, or you're going to build your relationships in faith. Ooh, I need that for later. Ooh, I love how the universe does me. So listen, you have to know that fearful situations are going to come to you. Fearful conversations are going to come to you. We have to protect our ear game more than anything. If you are out here talking to somebody on the phone and they're telling you about what they're scared of and how things are not going to work out, you say, listen, I got to call you back. Don't call them back. Don't call them back unless you are so in such a high vibrational space that whatever they say or whatever they come with is not even going to phase you. But it's important that we protect ourselves from fear. And how we protect ourselves from fear is very simple: by having faith. Faith. Faith is knowing without even knowing. It's believing without even knowing. It's knowing without having any proof. But it's just the inner knowing. It's a trusting more than anything. You have to trust that everything is always working out for you, because it is. And at the moment you start operating under that trust, things will change for you. But as long as you're operating from fear, your fears will be made real. Fear, they say, is false evidence appearing real, because that's all it's doing. It's appearing real because you were looking for it. Seeking, you shall find. You want to look for problems, you'll find problems. You want to look for stuff to hold you back or to deter you from making that change in your life, please believe you will find them. They will present themselves to you. If nothing else, somebody will call you with their fears of change, of stepping out, of doing something different, of speaking up for themselves. We can no longer operate in fear because it's not going to get us where we desire. Everything we want is on the other side of fear. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Some great advice I have been given, and I want to share with everybody I know, because we are going to get scared. There are going to be some things that happen to us that make us feel fearful, and that's okay. We don't have to cower away. We just know it's part of life, and we have the opportunity to choose faith, because faith can answer the door. So that way there's no one for fear to talk to. Whew. So today is I feel like it's a touchy subject. Today we're going to talk about teaching people how to treat us. Now, we all have relationships in our lives, whether they're personal or professional. And in all these spaces, we have to create boundaries. We talk about boundaries quite a bit on this show. And if you haven't heard a show about boundaries, scroll through. No matter if you're watching this somewhere live, now I definitely encourage you to go to your favorite music app and look up Get High on Motivation and find one of the shows on boundaries, especially the one about reassessing your boundaries. Because this conversation today is in conjunction with us reassessing boundaries. Do you have somebody in your life that treats you in a way that makes you uncomfortable? Do you ever get into an argument with somebody, and then when you leave or drive off, go in the other room, you have all these thoughts of what you could have said, what you should have said, how you didn't articulate yourself. You really didn't even stand your ground. And then that person probably went on about their business feeling like everything was resolved, when you're like, no, it was not. Possibly because we did not articulate ourselves clearly, or we didn't articulate ourselves at all. And why do we do that? That goes back to this conversation about fear. A lot of times we're too scared to speak up from ourselves because we don't want to push people away. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. Yet, we're literally trading in our own happiness at that very moment. Your fear of not hurting their feelings is keeping you from saying what needs to be said for your own safety, for the safety of your relationship. Safety is not just like, oh, falling off a cliff. Safety, there's emotional safety. And we have to have emotional safety with the people that we're in a relationship with. And the only way we do that is by clearly identifying our boundaries. So if there's somebody in your life that's talking to you sideways, it could be somebody at work. You can have a boss. My cousin has been dealing with a boss who would, step across that line of professionalism and would say some things that are like, wait a minute now. There are going to be people who are going to try you. You've probably tried some folks. So don't be offended when someone tries you. We have to test our boundaries. We have to see how far we can go. Kids do it all the time. If you ever want to learn how to test boundaries, hang out with a kid for a day and see how they operate with the different adults in their life. Because they're not going to operate all the same, because each one of those adults have placed certain boundaries and certain expectations on this child. Have you set expectations in your relationships? Have you told somebody, hey, the way you're dealing with me doesn't work for me. It's not serving me, or it's hurting me. If you don't say ouch, how is somebody supposed to know that you hurt? Now, once you say ouch, this is the tricky part. Once we say ouch, then guess what? The responsibility is no longer on us. Now, it's going to be scary, y'all. Anytime you are expressing boundaries to somebody or expressing to someone that their behavior is not up to par to be a part of your life, you're going to get some pushback, but that's okay. But you have to do this in the moment, because feedback, in order for feedback to be effective, it needs to be timely and it needs to be specific. What a lot of us do is we walk around and we start building these laundry lists of things someone has done to us. And then at some moment, when we can't take it anymore, we blow up and said, you didn't do this last week, and you didn't do this last month, and then last year you did this to me. And the person is like, wait a minute, what happened? And they're all confused, wondering what happened. What happened is that we didn't communicate our boundaries a long time ago. We didn't communicate our discomfort or our dis-ease a long time ago. And if somebody has a problem with us speaking up for ourselves, whose problem is that? Not ours, definitely. It's their problem. It is our job and it's our responsibility to be sure that we're communicating what it is that we desire. If we don't ask for what needs we have or for what we desire, how can we expect for it to be? People are not mind readers. They don't know what you're thinking. And don't hold them accountable for knowing what you're thinking. It might be obvious to you, but it may not be so obvious to them. Their point of perception and perspective is not the same as yours. But again, it's up to us to let them know, this is how I want to be treated. This is what I require. And if they're not for it, guess what's going to happen? They can go. Now, it might hurt temporarily, but what is happening is everything is always working out for you. So when someone has decided the expectations, the desires, and the needs that you have, they feel like they can't meet them, that's okay. Because there's somebody out there who will in every aspect of our life. There is somebody who is coming with the romance that you need. There is a boss or a manager out there who knows how to talk to you in an empowering way, in a way that'll make you feel like you want to do what you came to do. Because if you're like me, I remember going to a job where somebody was handling me in a way where I'm like, man, F-U-C-K-U. Like, let me out of here before I act a fool in here. And they have to see me on the news. The only reason somebody would have to see me on the news is because I was not communicating from the get-go what's okay and what's not okay with me. It's up to us to draw that line in the sand. We can't expect for somebody to draw it for us. We can't expect for somebody else to create our boundaries for us. We can't just cry and whine about it and never really say what's really bothering us and think that they're going to get in line. The other thing that's happening is we might be, giving up a chance to create a better relationship when we're not saying, hey, this is what I really need. The other person in your life or the other people in your life may not even know that what they're doing is not enough because you haven't said so. They may not even be aware that they're stepping on your toes because you haven't said so. It's up to you to communicate that. Don't get rah-rah. We don't have to get rah-rah. If anything, I want to suggest you get your little Post-it note out. I'm the queen of Post-it notes, y'all, in note cards. And write down the things that you need to communicate with this person. So that way you don't go off kilter and get all in your emotions. Get your emotions out of the way. Put them in your back pocket and you can go back to them after you're done having the conversation. But right now we need your mind to be at the forefront. We need your spirit to be at the forefront. I had a conversation with someone yesterday whose ego has been running the show. I said, man, listen, you've got to tell your ego to shut up. You've got to tell the ego, go sit your ASS down. Because if we are allowing ego to run the show, we're definitely going to be rah-rah. We're going to be responding, we're going to be reacting versus responding because the ego does not responsibly react to things. No. The ego reacts. You said this, you did that. The ego makes you feel like you're better than somebody. The ego makes you feel like somebody is better than you. And maybe that's why you haven't been speaking up for yourself. No, we are all equals in this thing. There is nobody above us. There's nobody below us. And we're all connected. But sometimes it is our job to let somebody know who we are. What is it that we desire? What are we willing to do? And what are we not willing to do? Ask yourself those questions. Answer those questions. Don't just ask them. I have clients all the time who refuse to ask very simple questions and to answer them. I got a client I've been working with for over a year and I ask her the same, what is it that you really want? She still can't tell me because she won't take the time to figure it out. Or she's not honoring what she really desires. She's scared to desire what she desires. She's fearful of her own dreams and her own vision, thinking that she's doing too much. I have a client, a male client. He's like, well, I really want to go to Egypt. I want to go to some, but that's doing too much. No, according to who? You're not doing too much when you're expressing what you desire out of your life and out of your relationships and other people. You're not doing too much. You're probably not doing enough. You're probably not communicating enough. You're probably not expressing enough. Because if we're expressing and communicating clearly what we desire, then, like I said, a person has a chance to deliver that. A person has an opportunity to change when we say, hey, how you're treating me is not working out. But if we never say that, then they might be under the impression that what they're doing is okay and that you're okay with it and that you're okay with them continuing treating you this way. At some point, you have to put your feet down, stand up for yourself, and not expect for someone else to do it for you, not expect for somebody else to figure it out for you or to figure out that they're treating you bad. You have to explicitly say it, that this does not work for me. Because if you don't, now you are taking a chance of being a part of a toxic relationship. Love bug. You deserve healthy relationships, okay? Healthy relationships, not toxic. So it's time for us to start today. And we might be a part of some toxic relationships. We might be a part of some relationships where some people have not been meeting our needs. And that's okay, because today, starting today, we are going to begin communicating what our needs are. This is what I need from you. And let them simmer on that. Let them decide what they're going to do with that information. Are they going to level up and treat you how you deserve to be treated? Are they going to honor what you're saying? Or are they going to show you that they're not really even worthy of being in your life? Because if they're worthy of being in your life, they're going to do something. Now, don't expect no overnight successes. Don't expect for your person to completely change. But do expect something from them. Expect some kind of movement. You got to tell them, meet me halfway. Because if you keep on going and going and going, they'll never have to come to you. Have these people meet you halfway. But understand this. You know, we talked about last week that we got to allow people to do what they want to do, or we can do what we want to do and allow other people to do the same. If we're going to communicate our boundaries and our needs, our desires to someone, we have to be ready to give them space to do the same. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's too many of us in relationships that aren't completely satisfied only because nobody's saying anything. Nobody wants to rock the boat. And when they do, they say something that's not what they're even upset about, but it's because we're harboring emotion. We're harboring thoughts. We're harboring experiences. Like I said, we're literally running a tab on people. We're running a tab of them doing stuff right or doing stuff wrong in our eyes. Let's clear the tab today. And let's clear the tab first and foremost by sitting down with ourselves and figuring out, what is it that I really desire out of this relationship? What do I really desire out of this position in this organization? And then get clear about it. Get clear about what you're willing to do for or in this relationship, personal or professional. Decide what's okay. Decide what's not okay. What is an absolute don't do that? Where you feel like you want to pop somebody's hand? What are the for you? What are the things that you're going to know that if somebody does this and they continue to do this after you've said that you got to go? Like, I love you and I'll see you later. There's always a chance that we can reconnect with someone later on in a healthier way. But in the meantime and in between time, we got to worry about self, because life is a singular journey. And we have to make sure that we're on the path to where we want to go and not where somebody is dragging us to. Have you ever been with somebody and they just taking you all over the place? Whether you were the driver or in the passenger side, they taking you all over the place, and that is not what you agreed upon. We have to have agreements with the people in our life. We have to have agreements with ourselves, but we also have to have agreements with other people. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're not going to do. And if we catch ourselves doing this, what are we going to do about it? We have to have conflict resolution plans in our relationships. We have to have conflict resolution plans in our business partnerships, because we're not always going to get along. And we're sometimes going to say things that might make the other person feel uncomfortable. I'm going to tell you what really makes people feel uncomfortable. You communicating your boundaries. I don't know why, but people seem to get offended when you say, hey, this is not enough. People seem to get offended when you're saying you're stepping on my toes. People seem to get offended when you say, look, this is not the kind of relationship I want to be a part of. And if you want to be in a relationship with me, this is what it looks like. This is what I need. You know why people cheat on their spouses and whatnot? Because they have not communicated their needs, and their partner cannot fulfill the needs that they don't even know exist. So then they go out and go find somebody else to fulfill those needs who gets it. When all the while we could have taken a moment, had a conversation, and said, look, I love you. I appreciate you. But this is what is required for us to continue forward. Now, this is not about giving people ultimatums. Don't go out there telling Mimi Motivator to say either you got to get with or you got to get gone. That's not what we're going for. That is not what we're going for. What we are going for is an opportunity for us to have open dialogue with the people in our lives, so we can see where both people are. What are both positions, and where are we going? Because if we don't know where we're going, how are we going to get there? That's how people are all over the place. That's why relationships are all over the place, because they don't have any substance. They don't have an objective. Why did you come together? Why are y'all dating? What do y'all both want out of life? If you're coming together with a business partner, are your core values aligned? That's what's really, really important these days. Are your core values aligned? Because if they are not, things not going to last long, or if they do, they're going to be very tumultuous along the way. All of this is up to us. And all of this begins with us, not nobody else. It doesn't begin with somebody else changing their ways. It begins with us changing our mind about how we even want to be treated. Change your mind today and be okay with it. Be cool with it. Now, understand that other people ain't going to be cool with it. When we start changing, kind of ruffles people's feathers, and then we start communicating them changes that we desire from them, they really might feel some type of way. But give them that space and give them some grace and give them some time and see what they do. But if they continue down the path of treating you in a way that is like, we know what we got to do, y'all. I'm here for you. You can do it. I believe in you. You're strong enough to make these decisions. You're strong enough to communicate what it is that you want. And you are more than deserving. Okay? More than deserving. My nose running this morning. I need some more self-love. I'm loving on y'all. Maybe I'm not loving on myself enough this morning. But listen, we do have to love ourselves. And how we love ourselves is definitely articulating our boundaries. Articulating what hurts, what works. Because if a person doesn't know, then you'll be a walking landmine. Some of us are literally walking landmines. And it's because we haven't got our stuff together. Because we haven't spent enough time with self. We haven't poured enough, invested enough love into self. Love yourself enough to know that you're worth whatever you desire. Love yourself enough to sit down and write it down, whatever you desire. What you desire out of life, what you desire out of the people in your life, what you desire out of the organizations. Because you have to know. Seeking you shall find. If you don't know what you're looking for, how will you ever find it? And if you're not asking for it, how can you expect to receive it? If you're not knocking on the door, how will it open? Okay? Fear knocked at the door. Faith answered, and no one was there. What's knocking at your door? Or what doors are you knocking on? Are you knocking on the door of a better life for yourself? Are you knocking on the door for better relationships, for better finances? And if you're not, it's time for you to schedule some time with Mimi the Motivator, because you deserve more. I don't care what you have. You deserve more. I don't care what you're doing. You deserve more. I don't care who you are. You deserve more. You deserve it. How you're going to get it is not up to you. Just desire it. Communicate it. Write it down. Communicate it verbally. Because we have to talk it out sometimes. And then we got to walk it out. So don't make these decisions and draw these boundaries, and then you trample over your own boundaries and you still allow things to go as they were going. Because if you do that, that means you're really okay with it at the end of the day. So shut up and put up. Or either get on out the door. The decision is yours. It's not up to them. It always is us. It's never, hardly ever. I'm going to say hardly ever, because never is a generalization. It's hardly ever them. It's you, love bug. Make the decision. Make the commitment to yourself today to start doing what works for you. Figure it out. Maybe you don't know, and that's okay too. But start exploring more of what feels good and what doesn't feel good. and do more of what feels good. And of course, start coming back on what doesn't. Because some of us have been in relationships where we have been still going about and doing things in a way that does not serve us. But it's time for us today to start doing something different, to start thinking different more than anything else. We operate from a be, do, have model. You have to change who you are. When you change who you are, the things you do will automatically change. The things that you have will be transformed. It doesn't work the other way around. So change you, transform you. And I definitely want to invite you to sign up for Unlock the Next Level of You. It's a 40-day journey going within. You working on you, getting to the basics. Some of this stuff you might know, and some of it might be things that you haven't checked on in a while. But we have to lay a foundation for transformation. It doesn't just happen. And today I'm knocking on your door and saying, hey, let me help you. Let me help you get to the next level. Let me help you unlock the next level that's inside of you. I believe there's a billionaire inside of you, but that's just me. I'm a little biased. But if you believe the same, and if you believe that you're worthy of more, you're deserving of more, and you're ready, because you got to be ready. If you ain't ready, then don't come to me. Because I'm only for people who are ready for change. I'm only for people who are ready to level up. I'm only for people who are ready to have more money in the bank. So if that's not you, don't call me. Don't reach out to me. You might not even want to listen to this show. But if it's you, hit me up. Hit me in my DMs. Go to my website. Go to courses.thefeelrichgroup.com and get signed up today. And I'll see you next week. I love you. I believe in you. I believe in that everything that is in your mind and in your heart can come to be, and that it's possible. I hope you believe with me. If I said anything today that may have been helpful to you, if I said anything today that you liked, please share this with somebody. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, wherever you may be watching this or listening to this. I appreciate it. Most of all, I appreciate you. Enjoy. Be happy.